I saw a scroll last night. Was Fairleigh Dickinson's run comes to an end. They won a game.
I saw that.
Like,
I saw that.
They won a big game.
We're trying to turn that into something.
I saw the exact same thing.
They won 2 games.
They won the playing game.
The play-in and then.
I saw the exact same
Not
thing,
really
and I
a
was
game.
like,
You're right. It's not a game.
Can you call it a run if you make it to the round of 2 and second round and then lose?
You have to get to the Sweet 16 for it to be a run. Can we put that on?
Yes.
Can we at least agree on that?
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Is winning 2 games in the tournament a run? Can you call?
They won a game. That is misleading.
It's 1.5 games. Let's call it that. 2 games. I'm with you. Princeton is making a run right now.
Reaching the round of 32 a run in the NCAA
It's
tournament.
happened 2 times in the history of the tournament.
That's not a run, though.
Guys, hold on.
That's a big upset.
Hold on. It's not a big upset. It's the biggest upset I've ever seen. This is empirically one of the worst teams to ever make the tournament. Fairleigh Dickinson, my father's alma mater, is...
Really?
That's correct. Yes. My father got an engineering degree from Fairleigh Dickinson. That's
Really?
right.
Can
That
we
is
call
right.
Poppy
He's
and
an
congratulate him?
He is.
Wow.
Why
He's
not capitalize?
He's
We
a
should have
tonight,
capitalized.
huh?
We had
Wow.
2 days to capitalize. There was nothing.
It surprises you that our show is disorganized.
How is he not posting a gloating Instagram story from the Le Batard Show account?
but before
Get
you
him some gear.
before you guys dismiss this, okay? Their net rating, when you look at Pomeroy and Sagarin, it's all 299s and
Ken Pom.
They're in the 300s on everything. They're in, like, this is one of the worst teams to ever make the tournament, and no doubt the worst team in this tournament, and they knocked off a 1 seed.
Also, they kept throwing around that they're the shortest team in the tournament. And Purdue was the tallest team. And I'm like, yeah, that'll happen when you have a 7'4" guy.
That guy's huge.
Skews it a little
Thank
bit.
you, Tony, for that
That
analysis.
guy's huge. I was watching. I was like,
Excellent
damn.
analysis. Yes, he's
Where'd that guy come from? He was actually on Who That Is.
Thank you, Tony, for the excellent analysis.
7'4".
The 7'4" guy is huge.
Sometimes that's good analysis, though. I mean, you walk into the Heat locker room sometimes, you see Shaquille O'Neal, and you go, guy's massive.
I get it.
That's
I get
a
it
big
now.
guy.
Yes. Well, this is, I've told you guys before that somehow this is the comment that people always make. Still, Shaq is owed 50. When they walk away from Shaq, it's like, he's big. And it's like, isn't that the only thing you knew about him before you met him?
But it's still shocking when you walk up to him and you're staring at
is,
his belly
right.
button.
It's shacking.
It is shocking. And it is shacking.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Cody would be an excellent... That's the kind of energy
this
he
guy
would
outta
give
here.
you from the Fairleigh Dickinson bench while waving a towel.
You got to do this thing. You got to do this thing with the arms out. Hold everyone back.
Oh, yeah.
Hold
Yep.
everyone back.
Yep.
I was that guy, like in high school baseball. If I wasn't playing in a game or like in between innings, I'm the first guy out of the dugout. High fives for everybody. High fives for everybody. Hey, let's get it up this inning. Everybody outside the dugout. Let's go. A little team huddle before the inning.
Up against the fence.
Is this correct, what I am about to say? Because I shouldn't have been shocked by this, maybe, but I was shocked by it. After 2 days of the tournament, of the 20 million brackets at ESPN, there were 0 perfect ones, and I think it was because of Fairleigh Dickinson. Like there were
Well,
other,
and Princeton.
there were other upsets, but that one, like that
Miami, what an upset.
one, makes it so that
I was like, oh, that is the easiest 12-5 of all time. Drake absolutely winning that game. And then Miami goes on like a 12-point run with 2 minutes left and wins.
Yeah, Miami was the
Ridiculous.
weakest 5 seed, and when you're looking at the tournament, you're going, all right, well, there's always going to be 2 12s that win, so you could just pencil in Drake. I only picked Miami because it was like, it ended up being like the upset pick of the first round was taking Miami.
Miami bombed Indiana yesterday, and it did make me wonder, Stugotz, because the way that team plays, they play fast, they score a lot, they steal, they're not very big, but they play aggressive defense. To see in the last couple of minutes of the game against Drake, where Drake couldn't get the ball over half court without turning it over, it made me wonder, why were they not being that aggressive earlier? You can't do Nolan Richardson's, whatever it was,
40 minutes of hell.
You can't.
What a team.
You can't do that, but you can full court press more than they did throughout that game, because that game was dreadful. I thought the season was going to end on such a whimper for Miami because of how they played all but the last 2 minutes of that game. And having seen that game, I'm still surprised Miami won that game. They were down 9 with like 6 minutes left and deserved to be.
Every Hurricane fan that watched that game looked at the scoreboard with a minute to go and go, how the hell did that happen? They gave up. So the biggest knock against Miami all year, if you look at the KenPom numbers, was I think they were ranked 134th in defense in the country. They were a bad defense all season. They just overcame it with having really good offensive players. But they gave up a point in the final 5 minutes of the game. Like you said, with the full court press, they gave up a point in the final 5 minutes of the game. That entire time you're going, Omier looks like a shell of himself, even though he had a double-double. He doesn't look like his normal self. And then Isaiah Wong drops a turd in that first round game where if we're doing a show,
there should have been a turd on the court.
Right. It was horrendous from him. And like, by the way, the first 10 minutes of the Indiana game, he was also bad. Turned it around, has a really good game, and now you feel good about Isaiah Wong. But that game was so bad. So you have your two of your 4-star players giving you nothing, and you still end up surviving. That was a classic survive in advance game. Every single person in my friend group chat, survive in advance. There's nothing better than sending that in all caps.
S&A.
S&A.
There's nothing. There's
Nothing better.
nothing.
Survive in
Such a good
advance is what
time.
March is all about,
How
Dano.
can you say that? There's nothing better.
It's great. It's an underrated feeling.
I don't have tournament experience. I'm not like a Kansas fan where I've been doing this my entire life.
Kansas sucks. Get out of here. Kansas always loses at the inopportune time. They're
ruined my
horrible.
bracket.
They
Literally
won the national championship a year ago. But I agree with you.
Tony,
I agree with you.
always choke.
It's a bad time for that take,
I
Tony.
let the first one go. Go sit in the penalty box.
The first one being what?
That Eddie is big.
Oh, dude, he's huge.
Go
Is he
sit-
not?
7-4.
Go sit in the penalty box.
He won the national championship last year.
Kansas.
Wait, but he's right. But I do
did
agree
that on
with him. I
purpose.
pointed
You
it out. I
could
agree
have
with
done
him.
it this time last year and gotten away with it. You can't do it right now.
What do you say? You're not used to it, but Jim Larinaga, he's done the impossible. Like, I know, listen, the Canes were good a long time ago with Leonard Hamilton. It was never this good, never this consistent, right? Where they are now back-to-back Sweet 16s. I think they've made 4 since he's become the head coach of the University of Miami. I'm not certain Jim Larinaga doesn't deserve a statue. I'm serious.
Wow.
Because he has done the
that's a big
impossible.
shout. I like
no
it,
one
though.
cares about college hoops down here, and yet this guy has figured out a way to give the fan, the small amount of fans down here, something to cheer for every single year. They are 4 games away from winning a national championship. They could just as easily win the national championship as any of the remaining teams. But more importantly, they're consistently here.
Yeah.
And Mike
here.
fired him last year.
Second weekend of the tournament.
Jessica, you made
4 times now.
a correctly skeptical face.
Can you repeat that? They have just as good of odds of winning the national championship as any
It's
of
a
the other
wide open
teams?
field. Yeah.
But like, I
mean,
feel like
did you watch
according
the first
to any
weekend?
sports book, they have different odds.
They are
That's what
different
that's
odds.
what the point of odds are.
but I don't pay attention
Also,
to the sports
Houston
books.
looks really
Yes,
good. They
looks
were the
really
only
good.
team that I watched this weekend, and I was like, oh shit, okay, they're actually.
They
really
didn't look good in game 1, just like Miami didn't, but they looked good in game 2. But I think
There you
Stugotz
go.
is wrong in every way. When
You don't
says,
think he deserves a statue?
Put it on the poll, please, Juju at Le Batard Show. Does Jim Larinaga deserve a statue? The reason I say you're wrong in every way is because you say they have as good a chance as anybody, and for all of the odds everywhere, I'm guessing they're favored by nobody and have some of the worst odds to win the
It
championship.
feels wide open, Dan.
The only
Anyone
team,
can win it.
The only team with worse odds is Princeton.
Oh, wow. I mean,
Same odds, Dano.
They have the same odds as FAU.
They have the same
FAU
amount
and
of
Miami have
games
the
left.
exact same odds.
I get what he was doing. They
I'm
have the
going to
same
have the
amount
same
of games
feeling
left.
if Houston wins or if UM wins. It's not going to surprise me. I'm not going to be
50-50.
shocked.
It would surprise everybody
No
if that happened.
way. This
Each
team went to
game-
the Elite 8 last year, and they have Wong.
Stugotz, each game's 50-50, right? There can only be 2 winners.
Exactly right.
We have been given a lot of money by DraftKings to understand how some of this stuff works. I believe if you look this up right now, Whittingham, you will find that Purdue's odds are better at winning the championship than
enough of
Miami,
them.
even though
I
they've
mean-
been eliminated from the tournament.
I'd also like to point out Houston also was in the Elite 8 last year and in the Final 4 the year before.
That's going to at least be a fun game with a lot of athleticism on the court, because while I can't name many of the Houston players, I did see that second game, Jessica, and they looked extremely competent. They looked less good than that in the first one that they played.
Very fast and competent is how I would describe them as well.
Yes.
My analysis.
Which-
7-point underdogs.
It's not.
Miami.
It's not what I saw from college basketball this weekend. Wasn't fast and competent all over the place. Houston stood out in that regard, and they've been that all season.
+7, though. I'll jump on that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Stu?
Doggy.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Uh-huh. Wide open.
Plus 255 on the money line. What are you thinking?
The cackling in the other
Don't get
room
crazy.
when those odds came up that refuted everything that Stugotz
I
said.
knew they had me, Dan.
Except the Larinaga statue.